Hey traders, Nick Shaheen here looking at the China trade, so to speak. I got a question today. Is this a good time to buy into the China trade, anticipating a deal with China, etc.? And they asked me about the FXI. The FXI is the large cap ETF for the Chinese market. Okay, so the China trade, we don't know what the heck's going on. All I know is that we might not even do business with China. So they're talking, they're not talking. It's a binary event. But I think the market has taken most of the beatings on it. So there's more upside than downside. But I don't want to use the FXI itself. There's too much junk in there. So I would rather use a specific stock that represents, quote, the China trade. And then they threw out Baidu and BABA, which are the two high-profile ones. I said that I would discount Baidu. I don't want to touch that because it has its own deal. It recently reported earnings, and I think it reported a first loss in, I don't know, 16,000 years. So even though back in August it had a flash crash of 2015, basically, and it's right back at it. So in theory, okay, this is a place to buy it, but assuming there's nothing else wrong, right? So why do I want to mess with it? So if you're a fan of Baidu and you know the internals and you know what's causing it to fall all the way down to here, technically I can explain some things like loss of this neckline and loss of this neckline, which insinuates that it could be lower. But this is quite an emphatic candle right here, so it is pretty close to, but there's still $10, 10%. So why bother with it? I don't know what's going on with it. It should have stopped falling, so I'd rather bet on BABA. So these are monthly candles. Let's go back to reality with some sort of a weekly candle. Let's start with a daily candle and then move out of there. By the way, if you don't already subscribe to this YouTube channel, you should, because I post videos there, sometimes more often than not. And also, if you want to jump in the chat, let me know. There should be a link down below where you can hit me up on chat. All right, so I would use BABA as a proxy for, quote, the China trade, because it has decent fundamentals. Let's check those now. And it doesn't have its own issues. We had a gold trade alert this morning. PE, where is it? PE is an easy indicator if they're cheap or not. It's 31. It's a little more expensive than Google and Facebook, a lot cheaper than China, but it sells 7 times sales, which is pretty steep. So it's not dirt cheap. It can get cheaper, but it is the easiest way to put a gauge on the China trade without any specific issues to BABA. All right, so it too is at a pivot level, this right here. If you consider that the November, January, December correction was anomaly, then I consider this whole zone a support zone. So let me zoom out. A few years ago, I remember BABA said, no, wait a minute, we're going to promise you the world, and they delivered. And the stock market believed them, and they ran up into this insane rally. Gave all of it up. So whatever they said here, I can't remember exactly what was the thesis to go long. But, you know, they said something emphatic. We gave them credit. We took it back. We're not going to take away more than they gave us. In other words, even if they completely lied, we're back to here. So this zone should be support if I expand this white box. So I would rather bet on that one. As far as the hopium aspect of it, I can buy and hope things happen. Or I can sell risk and hope things happen. What's the difference? They're both binary bullish. One, time is against me. The other one, time is on my side. What does that mean? Okay, so if I think that this is a support zone, I would sell risk below current price for BABA. So I would sell put spreads, or puts if I want to buy the shares, down below. The premiums are a different conversation, the concept here. And then I wait for the deal. If the deal happens, I definitely win. If the deal doesn't happen, I still win. All I need is BABA to hold as a support zone. Versus, I buy calls or the stock, the deal happens, maybe I win. The deal doesn't happen, I definitely lose. I'd rather sell something and let time be on my side, and hope the deal works out than buy something and hope the deal works out so I can make money. Does that make sense? So the answer is I don't use FXI. Personal opinion. I don't use FXI. I don't use Baidu. I'd rather use BABA. Cleaner. Assuming it has a support zone, I sell puts or put spreads. I don't want to sell them right here, so I may step out in time. When do they report earnings? Late August. So I can sell into August time frame expiration and still not have to deal with the earnings. When I sell the put spreads, I really don't want to be into the earnings. Okay, so these are my thoughts on the China trade. Who cares if we do a deal? As long as most of the damage is already priced in, and as long as this stock holds its levels, its support zones, I mean, it can fall another 13, 15% and still be okay here. But, you know, it all depends on my interpretation of what's the risk tolerance. Some people like to sell the put spreads at the money and deal with a low odds of success and a lower dollar amount of loss. Or some people like to go out of the money, way out of the money, and sell a much higher odds of success with that if I'm wrong, I lose more money, but odds are I'm not going to be wrong kind of a deal. Versus here, I'll take my coin flip chances and I don't want to lose a lot of money. Okay, so it's a matter of preference. All right, Nick signing out. Again, don't forget to link up on the chat down below or subscribe. Later, bye.